Welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we're going to be talking about the land use charge. Who is to pay? Is it a tenant or the landlord, particularly in Lagos State? So we're going to be using the Lagos State land use charge law as a reference. Now, we've seen situations where people occupy properties and land use charge, the bills are sent to the tenant, and they're worried, like, am I to pay this in addition to the rent I already pay, or am I to pass the bill across to the owner of this property? So basically, the land use charge is a consolidation of all property and land-based rates and charges payable under lands rates, neighborhood improvement charge, tenement rates, and all whatnot. So basically, in Lagos, the land use charge derives its legitimacy from the Lagos State land use charge law. So the big question is, if I'm in a property, I rented an apartment, who is to pay the land use charge? Under the law, the owner of a property is liable to pay the land use charge in respect of that property. So the owner in relation to any property, of course, includes an occupier with a lease of at least 10 years and above, or any person for the time being receiving proceeds on the property in connection with which the word is used, whether on his own account or as an agent or trustee for any other person who would receive the sum if such property were to be let to a tenant and the holder of a property directly from the state, whether under lease, license, or otherwise. Now, what this basically means, all I've said, what it basically means is that the person who is liable to pay the land use charge is the owner of the property, or someone who has a lease of up to 10 years. You rented the property for a period of 10 years, a continuous period of 10 years. So if you fall into any of these categories, it is your responsibility to ordinarily pay the land use charge. So what if you're a yearly tenant? It is not your responsibility statutorily to pay the land use charge. That charge is supposed to be paid by the owner of the property. So when the next time they bring a bill to you, land use charge 1 million, you simply pass it across to the owner of the property, your landlord. However, some tenancy agreements, this responsibility can be shared or passed across to another party in the tenancy agreement. So that's why tenants must be very careful. You must read through the tenant obligations as stated in the tenancy agreement before you sign the tenancy agreement. So general terms, tenant obligation would be to pay all outgoing rates, rents, levies, and all of those things, right? So you must now include a line which excludes you from paying the land use charge, because the landlord can surreptitiously pass that liability to you in your agreement. So for example, they can say the tenant agrees hereby to pay the water levy, land use charge, then light levy, electricity levy, all those kind of things. Just infuse it there, and if you don't read carefully, you will sign an agreement that gives you the liability to pay the land use charge. And of course, the assessments we've seen on properties, land use charges can be quite expensive, so you don't want to bear that burden in addition to the rent you already pay on your property. So we believe that for a tenant, your responsibility should be paying for those things you use. For example, paying for your light bill, electricity bill, water bill, for Lagos State waste management agency bill, all those kind of things. But to pay the land use charge, which statutorily is a responsibility of the landlord, we believe it shouldn't be passed over to the tenant. So that clearly shows, right? Shows that the owner, the landlord of the property, is statutorily liable to pay the land use charge, but the tenancy agreement can push it over to the tenant. So tenants must be very careful to be sure that the tenancy agreement does not push it over to them. All right. Now, we believe this has been helpful. So, of course, if you have further questions, drop your comments and we'll respond to you. And please subscribe, like the video, share the video, and let us know what next we should talk about. Thank you.